Hi, and welcome to this short demo of the current release of AWE. Here, you can see the index page, one of the main entry points for accessing key resources. This page provides access to documentation, including the Swagger UI for the REST API. In this demo, we're testing one of the endpoints to verify that it responds correctly. You can also view the API in redoc format, which presents the same information as Swagger but with a different layout and styling. Additionally, the OpenAPI JSON file is available for reference. We also host an MCP server, which enables integration with your preferred chat interface. A storage server is also available, allowing you to browse stored data. Now, let's move on to data workflows. In this example, we're building a workflow using several Python scripts, each packaged in a Docker container. To do this, we use Docker files to define how each image is built. I've already created the necessary Python scripts and Docker files. Each script is included in a Docker image, which is then referenced in the workflow definition. Once the images are built, we can use the Python application to manage the workflow. A dedicated web interface is under active development and will replace this in the future. The workflow has already been configured. The configuration includes Docker images, their arguments, and the mounted directories. We review each task to ensure everything is set up correctly. Once the configuration is complete, we save it and prepare to run the workflow. We also support triggers, which allow workflows to start automatically. In this case, we'll launch it manually by selecting the workflow and clicking Run. Before starting, we fill in the required arguments defined in the workflow. To demonstrate environment variable support, we manually add one for this run. There's no need to copy any files at this point. When the workflow starts, we can observe the progress reporting feature in action. It displays the estimated time remaining and provides logs directly from the Docker containers. After execution completes, we can review the full workflow configuration and the specific input values used during this run. Next, let's look at MCP server support. This feature allows you to interact with the workflow engine through natural language, using an agentic language model. In this demo, we're using GitHub Copilot, which has been configured to communicate with the MCP server. Here, we can list available Docker images, workflows, and triggers using simple natural language commands. With the capabilities of the language models, we can transform the response to the format we want. You can also initiate a workflow directly through the chat interface. Here, we trigger the progress reporting flow, specifically version 1.0.0. It's also possible to retrieve logs from a specific run. The language model will try different API calls until it receives a valid and meaningful response. Once successful, you'll see the logs generated by the workflow. That concludes the demo. Thank you for watching.